This is a really easy, simple way to sew a diaper cover if you want to have regular knit elastic that's hidden, but you don't want to do a lining layer. We're just going to need our knit elastic. This elastic works really great when it's sewn down. Braided elastic tends to get stretched out and warped when you stitch it down. That is better reserved for a casing method. And I've got my 3/8 inch elastic for the legs. Yeah, so for this one, we're gonna make the elastic into a circle and sew it on the leg bands that way. All right, so the first thing we're gonna need to do is pin the side bands together, right sides together, and sew that. All right, so now we've got our side bands stitched, and it's time to get the elastic ready. So for the elastic, you can either stitch it like this and then stitch it down to do a circle, or you can overlap. I find that trying to stitch elastic together that's narrow like this can be challenging for the overlap method, and so I just do it like this. But for the waistband, it's a wider one, it's easy to just overlap it and zigzag stitch back and forth a couple of times. So as you can see, I've got my zigzag stitch down that way. I've got these stitched, just a simple straight stitch down the edge there. Next, we will be pinning the elastic to the diaper cover. And we'll do this just like we did all the other ones, where you're gonna find the quarter marks in your elastic and in your leg opening or waist opening, and you're gonna match those up. We've got our elastic on, and attaching elastic by finding the quarters, it just makes sure that the stretch is evenly distributed. But this is also a really great method to use anytime you are attaching a smaller thing to a longer piece of fabric. So if you've got a piece of stretchy fabric that's smaller than a longer piece of fabric, then you just find the quarters, and it's a really great way to attach something smaller to something larger. All right, so now we're gonna go through and we're gonna zigzag. And note two things here. I pinned this to the wrong side of the fabric because we're just rolling this over. And also, for the seam here, you could make it lay flat, but since you can't really iron PUL, I just push the seam flap to the back. And yeah, and just make sure you've got it laying both the same direction on both the top, the leg, and the waist. All right, so yeah, we'll zigzag this. As you can see, we've got this sewn, and I suppose you could leave it like this. I know that some diapers cloth diapers that you can buy commercially, this is how they do the elastic. But you know, a lot of people don't want that elastic next to their skin. And so that's why we're rolling this. So we're just gonna pop it over like that, and we're gonna stitch it down. And incidentally, this is how you would attach elastic on like a pair of underwear. Like if you were using Elastin or regular knit elastic like this, you would roll it. All right, so now we've got our elastic, and I just pin this down in, you know, kind of roughly 3 or 4 places. How many pins you use is up to you. And we're just going to stitch right along the edge here. Use a zigzag stitch again, or you could use a twin needle like we did on the waist of the turn and top stitch diaper. But you don't have to, because PUL, it just has minimal stretch, and so the likelihood of the elastics overstretching on the PUL enough to make the threads break is unlikely. And so you don't have to do a fancy stitch. I'm just gonna stitch along the edge here with a straight stitch, both for the waistband and for the legs. All right, and there we have it. Super easy. You can kind of see there's our waistband with the straight stitch. And so you can decide whatever look you're going for. You can zigzag stitch this, you can use the twin needle, or you can just simply straight stitch it. And here's the legs, And we just have a really nice, very stretchy diaper cover.